What is going on, All Terrain Nation? I am your host, Kelly Boyd, and you are joining us for Bronco Talk Live Ladies Edition. We're going to talk all Bronco Off Roadeo ladies event that is happening on July 21st. And we've got a couple experts and a whole bunch of awesome ladies with us this evening that we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to bring them in one by one, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So we are going to start with Miss Shelby Hall coming in this evening. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming in, and we're going to get some background from you in a moment once we bring some more ladies into the chat with us so we can go ahead and kind of talk about it. So one of our wonderful leaders over at Bronco Off Roadeo, we have Amy Ace Clouds joining us this evening as well. And of course, my friend Becky with Bronco Wild Outdoors. Off-road extraordinaire, as I'm trying to get her convinced to go with me out to this ladies event. So we're going to talk more about that tonight. And of course, we have our awesome friend Heidi from Bronco Battalion joining us this evening as well. So ladies, thank you for taking time out of your super busy days. I know how our lives as ladies are absolutely crazy. Boys, calm down in the chat. We know you're busy too, but let's just say we multitask better than you do sometimes. So yeah. So welcome in. So let's get started. So Shelby, tell me a little bit about your background so everybody who's not familiar knows a little bit more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And first off, thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show. The whole off-roadeo is such an amazing platform, and creating the women's only off-roadeo is very near and dear to my heart. So I appreciate you hosting this show. So about me. So I basically grew up in the dirt. My grandfather was Rod Hall, and he was a very successful off-road racer, off-road driver, an ambassador for off-road motorsports for his entire life. I really feel like he helped to create not just off-road racing, but really helped to develop off-road as a sport. And so, I mean, from like my earliest memories, I remember like being before school age, so, before kindergarten, I was playing out in the dirt, eating rocks, and going out in the race truck with my dad. I couldn't see over the dashboard. He would have me just like strapped in as tight as he could. And apparently, this is according to my mom, I don't remember this, but I believe it. Whatever he was doing, I would tell him to go faster. That the speed that he was driving in the race truck wasn't fast enough. And so I think that just kind of really like sets the tone of the rest of, the days until now. But that was my whole life. My dad was a professional driver. He was an off-road driving instructor. He worked with the Special Forces for 25 years. And, I just grew up with these people who were hardcore entrepreneurs, and they were adventuring. And I'm not really sure I fully understood that until now. I just thought that they were doing really cool stuff, and they were in Mexico all the time, and Baja, and racing, and then as I got older, I worked pretty hand in hand with my grandfather as an off-road driving instructor. I raced with him for many years, and really his relationship, he raced, one of his original race trucks was a Bronco, and he actually set the record for being the only four-wheel drive vehicle to win the Baja 1000 overall.
Awesome.
And that was in a Bronco, and that was in 1969.
Wow.
And he still holds that record, which is insane.
That is very cool.
And that was in 2019. Ford actually came to our hometown. My grandfather was in a wheelchair by that time. But they wanted to come and they wanted to show him what the new Bronco was going to look like. And so they brought like this whole virtual reality setup. And we got to see what the new Bronco was going to be, and that was how I got my whole introduction to be involved with the new Bronco. They were like, "Whoa, Rod Hall has a granddaughter, and she races it." We didn't even know that. So I started working with Ford in 2019, and I raced the Bronco R, which was their race truck that they built as a big marketing piece before the Bronco was actually launched. So I raced in Baja for 2 years with them, and things have just really developed. I had the opportunity to be an instructor at Off Roadeo. I now compete for Ford Performance. I compete in the Rockvale Rally every year, and things are awesome. I love the Bronco.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for bringing all of your expertise to us this evening and really kind of giving us your story, because that's really exciting. Like, my story is nowhere near as exciting as yours. I just grew up in a General Motors household and fell in love with vehicles. And then I married this guy over here that loves vehicles too, and it took off from there. So you really got it in your blood.
Yeah, there was no choice.
Yeah, there was no choice.
No.
It's just like, this is what it's going to be.
I'm kidding. I actually have siblings, and my siblings are like, not that interested in getting dirty. So I'll do it for all of us.
There you go. You took it. You took the reins and you took off with it. So,
yes.
Well, awesome. Well, welcome in. We are super glad to have you this evening. And Amy, can you hear us okay?
I can. Can y'all hear me?
We can. I think we might be getting a little feedback from your speaker.
Okay. Let's see. How about now?
Let's see. It's a little better.
Yeah. I can still
I
hear
move
it.
outside. My internet in the most
I noticed that.
May just walk around.
That's okay. That works.
Life.
So, Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be where you are now with the Bronco Off Roadeo.
Yeah, so off-roading, I started, we call it country girl off-roading, starting with four-wheelers out in the mud, things like that. But my true love of off-roading really came when I met my husband about 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago, and introduced me to the life of Bronco. And so Lone Star Early Bronco Club and just first gen Broncos is really what I got into at first, and took off from there. And now it is anything from first gen to sixth gen. Absolutely love anything Bronco. And so heavily involved in the early Bronco community, traveled around to lots of events and within our own club. And then getting involved with Bronco Nation. And then whenever he was asked to be the site director for Bronco Off Roadeo Texas, I started out, that supportive wife, go get them, you're going to do great. And in August, he called and he said, "Hey, will you come guide for me? We really don't have any female guides other than Shelby." And she was there for dealer, and this was after dealer. They started with owners, and so I said, "Sure." He said, 1 to 2 days a week, and I'm there almost every day. I mean, I think I go there on my days off. I absolutely love it, and it is truly a family affair. Very thankful to be in it, but the Bronco is incredible. It's an incredible platform, incredible vehicle. But the Bronco community, it just solidifies everything that Ford is doing, and that Bronco Off Roadeo, all locations, what they're really trying to accomplish. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have a Bronco problem, like we tend to say we have a car problem. So we
Yes.
have a car problem too. So we get it totally. And obviously you wouldn't be on this live tonight if you didn't have a Bronco problem. So you are definitely in good company.
Yes.
And we'll go ahead and talk over with Becky with Bronco Wild Outdoors. So I know Dwayne kind of dragged you into some of this, right?
I would say he dragged me in, but I'm happily here, so it's all good.
So Becky, I know you've got a vehicle coming that is all yours, right? So
I do. I am staking claim to that bad boy.
So how did you fall so in love with it to him then finally say, "This one's going to be Becky's"?
So our little backstory was Dwayne, my husband, fell in love with the Bronco. He was so excited that they were coming out with a new one. And he watched the reveal, and he put in an order for 2 reservations. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, isn't one enough? Like, what are you doing? So he filled the order for 1. And we waited and waited, and we got that one. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden he sprung on me. Oh, and by the way, they had to go ahead and convert our reservation to an order. So we're getting another one. So in comes the Eruption Green Bronco, Badlands. And he says, because at the time I was driving my Range Rover, and he said, you know what? You just drive the Bronco. You're going to love it. You're going to want to sell the Range Rover. And I was skeptical. And I hate to say or admit that he was kind of right, but yes. So we're attempting to sell the Range Rover at this point because I have had such a great time with it, and it was so much more fun than I expected. And then at Supercell East, he sprung it on me that our reservation for Raptor had been converted to an order. So he's so lucky. I just didn't like take him out right then, but after
He had
I
witnesses because we were all
he had
there.
witnesses, and I had to be quiet and calm. And I said, we'll discuss this when we get home. But the more and more I was around the Raptor and saw it, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't quite so bad. And looking at all the functionality and the capabilities of it, I'm like, you know what? We're kind of inching up to the Range Rover now. Like, and I know they're 2 different vehicles, but let's just say that I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm super excited about that. So yes, I've been drawn into all this, but I'm having a great time. So
that's awesome. Had you ever wheeled before Dwayne dragged you in?
So growing up, my dad, the only way he would ever go to the beach, and this is my extent of wheeling, was to go off-roading on the beach. To go, so he could fish. He did not like the beach, but he liked to fish off of the ocean. And it was a beach that is a 4-wheel drive access only. So growing up, we did that. And then getting older, you still did that. But we kind of backed off of that early in the marriage and having kids and all that stuff. But now we're back at it again. So yes, it's been great. I mean, the Bronco has been such a godsend, really. It's so easy. And that's what I really like about it, is so easy.
I would completely
we're having fun.
Agree. I'm
we're
glad.
Having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have another girl
too.
in the fold with me too.
Yeah, it's fun. And you know, all the people that we've met so far, it's just been so much fun and amazing. Really.
That's awesome. Well, we are glad to have you on this evening as well. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And we're going to turn it over to Miss Heidi. So Miss Heidi with Bronco Battalion USA, tell me about how you got involved with the Bronco.
Hey, Kelly. Well, I would say my background is mostly in the Jeeping community. I rode passenger probably for about 8 years, so a lot of trail time, and I've always been in love with the Bronco. So as soon as I heard that they were coming out with a new one, without a doubt, I knew I was getting one. And hopefully next week it'll be built.
I was going to say, you're a June 13 build, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Not holding my breath, but
well, we've all got fingers and toes crossed for you that you're still
crossed,
a June.
Heidi.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like the last one to get mine.
You're not.
No. There's plenty out there that are still waiting. I know we've got quite a few viewers that are still waiting, have either been pushed on their dates or not even gotten their dates or anything like that quite yet. But I know it feels that way, Heidi, but stick in there. You know by all of our stories that it is totally worth it.
It is.
Right.
But I would like to ask you, tell us a little bit about Bronco Battalion and how that kind of came to be for those that don't know.
I'm trying to think. I just knew, like I said, coming from like the Jeeping community, that I wanted to do something for women and to represent. And I just jumped out of bed one night and I said, you know what? I want to do stuff to encourage women to be out there wheeling.
Awesome. Well, you have done it and you are here and we are glad to have you this evening with us as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. So, Heidi, I know you're super busy on the road, but any plans at going to a Bronco Off Roadeo? I know you can't in July because you're super busy with work, but
yeah, I really, really wish I could.
Yeah,
it's just not possible right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed also for that you get some time in your schedule to be able to go. So as long as it's on your wish list, that's the key. I know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I definitely want to. I'll probably end up wheeling with my Bronco before I'll be able to make it to an event.
Well, you might wheel with your Bronco before we even wheel with our Bronco. So,
Well, hopefully we're wheeling together.
That's true. That is true. You just need to come to Nashville and we'll find some trails to wheel for sure.
For sure.
I'll pick you up on that too.
There you go, Shelby. We got you. Come on up to Nashville, or we'll even meet in the middle somewhere. We'll figure a place out. So Shelby, Amy, like to kind of get your we'll start with Shelby. Shelby, tell me a little bit about what you see with Bronco Off Roadeo and really kind of why you guys wanted to have a ladies only event.
So I spent a really big portion of last year traveling the arrive and drive circuit with Ford. People weren't so much getting their Broncos yet, and so Ford was hosting a lot of events for people to come out and get an opportunity to actually get in a Bronco. So many people placed an order like before they had even touched one, seen one. They were just trusting that this vehicle was going to be amazing. And so we needed to give them an opportunity to get their hands on this sweet vehicle. And, I really took that opportunity to talk to everyone who was getting in the passenger seat with me. And I just wanted to figure out what the pain points were, what the positive points were, who was actually buying them, what was their level of off-road skill, and come to find out, it was a lot of women and a lot of people who, men and women alike, but it was a big percentage of women who were buying the Bronco, and they had never been off-roading before. And they were kind of just jumping in and wanting to get involved. And, for me, as a female in the industry, I feel like I have had to deal with a lot of things that maybe men don't have to, right? Or maybe we're more sensitive to it, whatever it is. I just learned that I wanted to be a resource for other women. I felt like I was in a really fortunate position to be a part of Off Roadeo, to have a voice with Ford, and to be, to have that seat time of the Bronco. And Off Roadeo is amazing on its own. If you can't attend the women's Off Roadeo, absolutely still attend the regular Off Roadeo. There's so much to learn about the technology, and I had to learn the technology. Total side note, I come from like old school background, like no lockers, no cameras. I had to like train myself to look at the screen. And so anyways, so I just wanted to create a space where women can come and ask questions, because a lot of times we are in a position where you're with people who know more than you know, and that's intimidating. It's intimidating to not know how to do something, and it just feels more comfortable when you're only around other women. And so we just felt like once we had a base of understanding that women wanted to be there, they wanted to learn more, then we decided we wanted to actually poll the women that we're working with and our customers and ask them what they want to know more about. And so we actually were able to learn that there's really kind of three things that our community wants to know more about. And it's spotting, it's choosing lines, and recovery. And so those are some areas where we're going to dive a little bit deeper, whereas our regular Off Roadeo covers that, but not quite as in depth.
Ah, okay. See, that's more than what I knew. I just thought we were having just ladies only and
Right.
kind of going from there. I know I filled out the interest form, the very first one that was put out was like, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. What do you want to learn more about? But I love to know that you guys are actually using that information and really kind of building from it to come up with a great
And
experience.
I mean, and that was the whole point of it was, you know, this isn't, I mean, yes, we are making it cool, a happy hour. We get to meet one of the head engineers for Bronco, who's a female. But we want this to be a place where people walk away from it feeling more empowered behind the wheel to go out and utilize the Bronco for everything that it's worth. Because that thing is badass. I mean, like, it goes everywhere. I have had so much fun in it. And, you know, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it is. Like, it's the best adjective.
We're drinking behind the scenes, so it's okay.
Okay, perfect. And so it is just such a special thing for me, and we have been working on it for a while, and it's a great time to be a woman, you know?
Yeah,
it is a great time to dive in, and I hope that this isn't the only event that we get to host, because there's just so much to offer. There's just so much to do.
Oh, for sure. And I'll be honest, I'm excited to hear that there's kind of some specialized things, because as I won't say a super experienced off-roader, but I'm an experienced off-roader. And so, you know, Dave will tell you I drive better than he does. But I learned to pick lines and things like that, but I'm still not great at it. So I can totally see where that would be a huge asset, because I've gotten myself in a couple of situations where, like, he's like, okay, just go ahead and come up. I'm going to guide these people up. You go ahead and find. And I go, what did I do? Where did I go? So to be able to get more experience picking those lines. And thankfully we haven't had to do too much recovery. So recovery would be an amazing knowledge to add to that experience. And, you know, just overall, just using the vehicle in itself, because I know we've got a lot of beautiful easy buttons on this Bronco. I just haven't had a chance to use them, and to be able to learn from the ladies that have been behind the wheel more than probably any ladies is huge. Because to your point, you know, like you mentioned, was, you know, being a safe space with other ladies. Not sorry guys, but you don't totally understand it because it's a big thing where you go, I don't want to do something wrong, but yet you feel safe in that space amongst other ladies. Like we were talking at before the show started that, you know, we did an off-road event for 11 years. It was only a week-long event, but we had a ladies only run. And the rules were lady guides, lady drivers, guys could come and be passenger, but they didn't get a say on the trail. Like there was nothing. It was all ladies all the time. And we had many ladies that were converts after that. Like they were like, oh my gosh, you know, they start the trail and they go, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And then they go, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, okay, honey, you can buy whatever you need to for the vehicle.
And that's the thing is I learned just from chatting with people that they have been off-roading for years, but always in the passenger seat.
Yes.
And, you know, it's once you're in the driver's seat, it's kind of hard to give it up. I mean, I'm guilty. And making that transition isn't easy, and it is intimidating. And when you kind of get into your pattern of my husband, my boyfriend drives, and I am in the passenger seat, like that's just kind of what you do. Until you break the cycle and you get in the driver's seat, and then you can't pry him out.
Yeah, he put me in the driver's seat. I find out later that it was intentional, but I have maybe a few control issues, and being in the passenger seat isn't healthy for our relationship. We would actually warn people when we would go on trails if I'm driving and he has this bad tendency of going, let me see. Let me think about how I'm looking at the vehicle. He'd say, driver. And I'm like, that's not driver, that's passenger. Like, what are you telling me to do? Like, that is not the right thing to do. So we have a lot of marriage counseling on the trails, just kind of like our live videos have become a lot of marriage counseling for our consistent viewers. They know, but he was like, I just put you in the driver's seat because I just needed you to see, and I knew that you were in control. And I do much better in the driver's seat than I do in the passenger seat. So ladies that have not done it, push your guys and get in the driver's seat. And like he likes to say, once you get the lady in the driver's seat, the wallet opens. We want more parts to go on the vehicle. Like we do.
Yeah, because you're having fun.
Yes. Becky knows because Becky's wallet opened up a little bit. I know it has.
Oh, yeah.
Because that Raptor was not planned.
No. And you know, you were there. You found out. Well, everybody else found out when I found out.
Yep. Yeah, we were.
And I think that was for
Supercell.
safety reasons.
I think so too. I think he knew that it was
He was very
just
smart.
best to
Very
drop
smart.
it with everybody. So
Yeah. Just to, oh, look at this Raptor. It's so great. Look, don't you love it? And ease me into it. And then, oh, by the way. I'm like, what? What do you mean?
what do you mean?
You're going to love the Raptor, I promise.
I know. But okay, so my background is I'm an accountant. I'm a CPA. So dollars matter, right? And I analyze all of the budget. So you can only imagine. I'm like, huh? What? Oh, okay. We'll talk about this later. Let me just keep my cool. We'll get home. We're back to the hotel. But lucky for him, we're at Supercell East and we're so exhausted because it was so busy and everything. Like I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I know, Shelby, that you're an avid Raptor driver.
Well, you can give me some lessons.
I would love to. Avid is a bold statement, but I did get to drive it. I might be the only woman so far that has driven it.
That's awesome.
I did get to film the Bronco Raptor commercial in Johnson Valley.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is incredible.
Which was incredible.
Well, to be able to say that, like just to say that nobody else can say that, like to have that on your resume is amazing. That's awesome. And then, I would say hashtag goals, but you can't.
Well, and then to boot, woman, you know what I mean? Like blowing the boys out of the water.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. To be a badass.
Feminist,
it
but
was incredible. Like I think I was the only female on the whole shoot, and it was like a full on production, and so it was pretty. It did feel pretty good, like every day coming out and being the only one to be allowed to get in the driver's seat. That's
so awesome. I just envision, okay, so no one knows who you are and you've got your helmet on and everything and your suit, so they can't really tell, but then you show everybody what you've got and then you get out and you take your helmet off and you let your hair down and you're like, yeah, this is me.
It's totally like the things from movies,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm envisioning. Just like blowing everybody away.
It's like he's a badass driver. And then
there's no he here.
I may have done one event like that where I did get out of the vehicle. Like nobody knew it was me. I was driving our old 68 Bronco actually. And it was for the reveal of Bronco R, the race truck. So we come around a corner in front of all the media and nobody could tell who was actually driving the 68 because just like you said, I was wearing a helmet. I had a full race suit on. I climbed out of the truck. I mean, I'm sure everyone noticed that the person was very short. I'm only 5'2".
Well, everybody can be short. Come on.
Anybody can. Yeah, but I took my helmet off and like the wind was blowing perfectly.
Oh man,
it was pretty fun. I mean, that was like a once in a lifetime.
That's when you wish somebody had that camera that was just videoing that. Just happens to be right at that time. So you get that cinematic shot.
Yeah, like the movie, like the slow motion shot. Oh man, that's amazing.
For sure. So Amy, you are a trail leader extraordinaire or spotter extraordinary. So you said that your husband kind of brought you in. So, let me ask you this. What did the guys think of a lady spotting them? At first? Well, I guess you probably got mixed bag.
I've gotten mixed. I've gotten mixed at the introductions. They're like, kind of look. I've had some groups where it's all guys and they're like, this chick's gonna teach me how to go off-roading in a Bronco, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so we go do some things, and after about the first one they're like, oh, okay,
I understand.
and they are great. That doesn't happen too often. A lot of times we'll have a good combination of men and women coming together. We'll have some women that come on their own individually, mixed in with the group with husbands and wives. And so it's a really good mixture. But there have been a few that kind of raise an eyebrow at first, but then after introductions and everyone gets to know each other, it's just like I call it willing with friends and family. I mean, we just get out there, we learn, we help each other, and that's why I tell them that that's part of that Bronco community. When you go out with groups, out in the wild with a group of friends, you're all helping spot each other. You're all learning from each other constantly, so you're just constantly improving your own skills. I learn something every day from the other guides and from other people that come in, and so it's just willing with family and friends, and it's great. But yeah, every once in a while we'll get them some, and then they realize, there are women in the off-road world who know what they're talking about.
Yeah. They might be a little rare, but they do know what they're talking about.
They're out there, and there's a lot more than a lot of people think. They're
for
just
sure.
not necessarily, in the spotlight or at off-road schools or experiences like this. And I wish they would. I want them to come out in full force and, be a part of this. And that's why I'm so excited that Shelby and the team have created this ladies only event, so they can feel comfortable, because they do come in as those novice that are there just for that experience as part of buying that Bronco, and they're thinking, I'm never going to take my Bronco off-road, and by the end of the day they're just like, give me more, I want more. I feel like Shelby said, like such a badass woman. I am on top of the world. I tell everyone, when you walk back down to dinner, you look like a bunch of peacocks. And they do.
Confidence,
it's amazing.
man.
Yes, it is amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, the first couple of times he took me wheeling, because I was passenger, I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm done. Like, this is it. Not happening. And then once I got in the driver's seat, it was like, okay, when are we going again? Like, it just is. There's just something to be said about learning how to do it the right way, being confident in the vehicle that you've got, having the experts that really kind of walk you through the process, just awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things too is, and I know that there are, some other companies that are offering driver training, but it's new. Like, really having the education portion involved is kind of like new to off-road. I mean, before, you really had to search to find training, and it's very expensive. And it's just depending on how much you want to refine your skills, that's still available. But to come and spend a day with people that know that vehicle inside and out is amazing. And I mean, just like anything in life, we do not wake up good at it.
Nope.
Like, it takes practice, it takes making mistakes, it takes learning, it takes practicing some more to get good at anything. And I just feel like this is such the perfect place to come and have like a safe environment to learn.
Absolutely. And so see, Heidi, we need to get you in the driver's seat.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can get you comfortable and confident and knowing what you do, get you out of that passenger seat. And Becky, I know you do a lot with your horses and everything too, but to really kind of get you in that driver's seat too, I think is going to be a huge thing for us. So I did kind of want to ask you, whoever has the answer for it. I know, Amy, you do a lot with it. I know, Shelby, you've kind of been kind of behind the scenes, kind of pushing it. How many ladies are you hoping for, or how many is the registration open for to attend the event, or how many, I guess, maybe Broncos?
At 32.
32.
That's correct. So that's usually our groups. It's 32 Broncos that will go out in a day. And so that is what we're hoping for. It is quickly filling up, but there are spots left. So ladies who are on the fence about it, just come to it. You will not regret it. I absolutely promise that you will not regret it. But yeah, so 32 total.
And now with that, so I did look at Bronco Off Rodeo's website, so I didn't see it on there, but of course I have the link because I'm in all the ladies groups. Is there a place on Bronco Off Roadeo that they can register, or is it through that exclusive link only?
Yeah, I saw someone else ask that question also. So you do need to go through the link.
Okay. So the one
which,
that I just put in there for us, ladies.
yes.
And we will make sure that we have it in the show notes after as well. So that way you guys can click on it if you are not able to do it during the show. So 32 vehicles. So that's excellent. That's a great amount. So will 32 run all together, or did you say it'll be 2 groups, Amy?
It'll more than likely will be set in different groups. So
Okay.
they're going to be all female leads. And then we will also have some trail assists out there helping out on the trail with spotting and different things. So more than likely 2 guides per group. So I don't know if we're going to do 2 big groups or if we're going to split into 4 smaller groups. But yeah, I think we'll be into groups, because running 32 Broncos out on our trails in Texas is it's a lot. It's a lot of waiting. If you do
So
32.
it was, Amy is right on. So we are structuring it with smaller groups. So it'll be 4 groups of 8. So be sure to bring your girlfriends with you.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that was something that was really important for us also, was to ensure that the group size was small, so that if there was any hands-on type training, everybody gets to see what's going on. You know, sometimes if a group is too big, the folks in the back don't really get to see what the instructor is pointing at or whatever. So yeah, 4 groups of 8.
Awesome. That's a perfect number for sure.
And if you go, even if you're not able to make it to the ladies event, but you decide at a later date or even before July 21st, to go to one of the off rodeos, that's usually, at least Texas, that's how we're structured is. If we have the 32 field, we're going to break up into those smaller groups. That way you can get more of that one-on-one instruction and that time with those guides.
Awesome. And so, of course, the location, our producer Dave has shared it with us here at the Great Wolf Lodge just outside of Austin, Texas. From what I was seeing, it's about an hour outside of Austin. But that would be, if ladies are flying in, that would be the closest airport. Would be Austin to go through. And as I'm kind of looking at it, it's really, so there's quite a bit of different terrain there. It's not just rocks. It's not just water.
Yeah.
It's not just anything. It's really kind of a little bit of everything, it looks like.
It really is a lot of everything. You get big rocks, you get big slabs, granite slabs, nice section of trees to go through, some of that looser terrain. As you just get a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, that looks a lot more like what our wheeling is out on this side of the world.
Yeah.
Out in we're in Middle Tennessee, but East Tennessee, Windrock Park is really kind of where we go and do the majority of our wheeling. So it really looks, and man, the views, those are gorgeous.
Yes.
Definitely looks like a great experience for sure. So walk us through what the day looks like. So what does the day look like when you arrive for this? I know you've got a lot on the site, but really kind of from your firsthand, I'd love to know kind of firsthand what that looks like for you.
Amy, do you want to give them a bit?
Sure, absolutely. So I know that the day before there's going to be a pre-event happy hour. So they register and they are coming, if they stay at Horseshoe Bay Resort, at check-in, they can do some pre-registrations, getting it ready, and get ready for the happy hour with the ladies. And then the next day of the actual event, they'll be shuttled out to, if they're from the resort, they'll be shuttled out to location. Breakfast will be there. They get signed in, and we'll get their name badges. We have guest Yetis that they get, and then we head out to introductions. We introduce the team to the guests. Then we get to know the guests. We want to know what Bronco they have or have on order, and where they're from and what they do, and just really that starts the basis of connecting. Where we've had I had a group one time where every single couple there was from North Carolina, and they didn't know each other. And it was absolutely amazing, because by the end of the day, they were planning vacations.
How funny.
I know for sure they've gone on 2 vacations with each other. So it's awesome. And so that begins kind of that foundation and connecting. After that, we go into our off-road experience course, and that is where we teach a lot on technology or technique. But then we layer in that technology to show how coupled together, they're going to affect that drivetrain, ultimately affect those ladies behind the steering wheel as that off-road driver. And so after that, we take some breaks here and there at base camp. And then we do morning rides. That way they can start applying that knowledge in real time, in real situation. Lunch, I know they've got some pretty cool things lined up during lunch, and Shelby can get into the specifics of that. After lunch, then we're hitting those trails and those obstacles hard and heavy. It is about 4 hours straight out on the trails, where it is trail obstacle, and each thing that we do becomes more technical, more challenging. And that's where at dinner, when they're walking back, they truly look like a bunch of peacocks walking down that drive. I mean, I'm serious. It is amazing. Their heads are held high, and it's a beautiful sight to see. Yeah, so that's a pretty quick rundown of it. And really that is at any time someone comes to the Texas location at any off-roadeo, that's going to be pretty much that kind of timeline, the itinerary. But with this event, we're really honing in on ladies and specific issues that ladies have to deal with out on the trail. And like Shelby said, really learning that spotting technique, other techniques, recovery, but really geared more towards women. We also have live music in the end of the day with dinner and cornhole and fun games that they can play, and just really campfires, and just, really sit back and talk about how their day went and enjoy what went on.
And so it really is, from what I've read, and it's a family event too. So it's not just, hey, the adults are going to go out and get rowdy. It's because I saw 12 and up, because I've considered, I was like, I'm thinking it might be a good trip for my daughter and I, but we're still kind of working out the logistics on that one still. So
absolutely, we have kids that come all the time, and they have so much fun. At first they start, I wish I could drive, especially those that are 16. Mm-hmm. But not quite 18. They really wish that they can drive, but then they have so much fun because they can learn a lot on that technique. Mm-hmm. And we'll pull them out and let them help spot and things that they, even though they're not behind that steering wheel, there's still so much for them to learn.
That's awesome. That is good to know for those parents out there that are thinking, I just can't do this.
Well, I can speak as a testament. I haven't been myself, but Dwayne took our daughter, Alexa, who was 14 at the time last year. Gavin was slated to go, but he's 10. So he didn't meet the minimum age requirement, but she had a ball.
That's awesome.
They both totally enjoyed it, and it was a great event. So it's made me want to go, obviously. But yeah.
That's awesome. I did have one person ask, Kristen Herman says, why was this location chosen for the ladies event?
That's a great question. The Austin location is really like the OG, the original. And so I think that was why it was selected.
I gotcha. Yeah, and it covers a lot of terrain too, so it's kind of the best of both worlds for sure. I love Dr. Pepper 11 says, Amy, you were my off-roadeo when I went earlier this year. What a great experience.
So happy you had a good time.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I will say, so of course I did some background looking to make sure that I could ask you ladies some really great questions tonight. And I looked up Amy's name, and it was like, Amy's awesome, Amy's awesome, Amy's awesome, Amy's awesome. So there was a lot on the forums about you as, being their guide and just really doing an amazing job. So I'm really glad to have you on this tonight, so we can really talk to you and really. So ladies, if you're on the fence, this is your shout out to say, hey, let's do this, because I filled out my form tonight. I'm going to figure out the logistics of how that works for at least me going. I'm trying to get Becky with Bronco Wild Outdoors to go with us. She's got to work.
Just have me there.
So do you have a couple of other questions for you? So I did see on the form itself, it actually says if you've already attended, or if you've not previously attended an off-roadeo, but I did see some forum talk and some posts from both of you ladies saying, hey, you know, even if you've attended before, feel free to sign up. So if they've attended previous off rodeos, are they able to, and to piggyback on that, if they attend this one, or if it is the case that they can, if they attend the ladies only, can they attend another one in the future if they are able to do so?
So as of right now, it is available to women who have not yet attended another off rodeo. And if they do attend the ladies experience, then that does actually use their off rodeo voucher, so to speak.
Gotcha.
I do strongly suggest that even if you've been to an off rodeo before, to please fill out the form. It does not sign you up. It doesn't do anything other than it gives us the information that you're interested. And this is just our very first event. And like I said earlier, you know, I'm really hopeful that we're able to create more of these events. And so by showing us your interest, then that helps for me to build my case.
Got you. I know exactly where you're going with that then. So what I'm hearing from Shelby is, ladies out there, even if you can't go to the one in July or you've already gone to a Bronco Off Rodeo and you are interested in going to a ladies Bronco Off Rodeo, please fill out the form, because for those that don't know, she can take that information and go to the powers that be and say, hey, look, I've got all this interest from all of these ladies that either want to attend for their off rodeo experience or they want to attend another one with a ladies only experience. And this is my justification as to why we can do that. So that's how, for lack of a better explanation, that's how the money gets rolling. So
you're 100% correct.
That's how the checks get written to make these types of events
I was trying to
happen.
say it more PC, so
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank
I'll
you.
cover it for you. I've got a degree in marketing, so I understand how that works, and I understand. I've been in corporate world long enough to know how the checks get written from that perspective. So I understand. I got you. So ladies, be sure to fill that out, even if it's just an interest experience right now. Doesn't, like Shelby said, it does not sign you up and say, yes, I'm absolutely going. It just says, hey, this is of interest. So definitely kind of keep that in there. So let's see, what else Dave, do we have any questions that we haven't kind of covered from anybody? Have any questions for us tonight? I know you've kind of thrown some stuff in there already. I know we've got lots of folks in tonight. Oh, Dave has a question from the sidelines. So he wants to know, what is your opinion individually of the best location for off rodeo? Like maybe your favorite location. And it doesn't have to be the one that doesn't have to be ladies. I know it may be a little tough to answer other than Texas, just because we're talking ladies off rodeo, but your personal experience, which one's your favorite?
So I'll start. So for me, I actually have not been to the New Hampshire location, so I can't speak to that one. Austin is so cool because it's all private land. Mm-hmm. So when you're out there, it's like and Amy, I can't remember how much acreage the whole site is.
360.
Wow.
There you go. So 360 acres that you guys are out there all on your own, and there's just some really cool, like the Bronco Sport Track is really awesome, and I don't know, I do love Austin, but Moab is you can't top Moab. And the cool thing about the Moab off rodeo location is kind of the opposite. Like everything that you're doing out in Moab is 100% natural terrain. Not that Austin isn't, but I mean, it's like, there's no grading it. There's no moving rocks. It is what it is. And Moab is stunning. I went to Moab to visit the off rodeo location and also to do some wheeling last month, and it was my first time there. And I mean, I will tell you that I was white knuckled a few times. Like as a desert girl going to the rocks, I was like, why are we climbing these rocks? We can drive around them. But I guess the whole point is to, drive up and over gigantic rocks. It was so gorgeous. So Moab might be up at the top.
So how long did it take you to realize that quote unquote slick rock in Moab is really not that slick and it's more like sandpaper?
Yeah, pretty quick, actually. After I had peeled my fingers off the steering wheel. I mean, there was definitely, that's where learning to pick your line and to have a really awesome spotter is so important. When all you see is sky, it's important to have
for sure
someone that you trust.
I have some footage of baby lions back of just seeing sky and then just seeing rock. So I can't share it on too many places because there's some pretty cuss words coming out of my mouth. But I was just passenger in that one though. But so, take that with a grain of salt. But I'll ask the other ladies here in just a second. But we do have a question. If your Bronco doesn't have lockers, are you taught how to navigate based on other models than a Badlands or those that have lockers?
So all of our Broncos at all the locations will have the electronic locking differentials. However, we don't just teach technology. That's where we really teach on a lot of technique and then layer in that technology, because there are a lot of people that have come through that just ordered that bare minimum, didn't opt for any locking differentials. And so they are able to navigate that terrain. And we do teach on that technique as well. And that's where finding those lines really, really comes into play. And we hone in on that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And Positivity Win says, got here late, work, Anyway, will Shelby be an instructor at the ladies event?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And are you at all of them, Shelby, or are you, obviously I know your life does not revolve around off-roadeo like Amy's does, but will you be at quite a few events if they don't happen to attend the ladies event?
I would very much like to be. I would love to spend a little more time at the off-rodeos. So fingers crossed that I will be instructing at more of them.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. And Amy, so tell me, obviously there's a little special place in your heart for Texas, obviously, because like we talked about in the pre-show, you kind of live there at the event, it seems. So is Texas your favorite idea of a location, or do you have one of the others that either you've been to or you would like to see?
So I have been to one other one so far. I've been to Vegas at the middle of March. I had the opportunity to go up there, and it is about 30 minutes off the strip at Mount Potosi, in an old Boy Scout encampment. And they did a great job. I mean, a fabulous job in getting that location set up. It has some great terrain. One thing I love about all 4 locations, yes, I love Texas. I'm a Texas girl at heart. I'm used to the granite slabs, and I love big slabs and rocks and all of that. But I absolutely love that all 4 locations, they truly are different from one another. Mm-hmm. You've got New Hampshire that has beautiful, beautiful views, beautiful trees to go through. Great lift to go eat lunch. I mean, how cool is that? I'm trying to talk our site director and our bosses in to get a zip line so we can do that. But I wish we could. Just some really great things there. And of course, if you go in the fall, you've got that fall foliage. Mm-hmm. So hoping to get out there. Vegas is beautiful. One thing I do love about Vegas is it's right off the strip, or a little bit off the strip. So it's not crazy busy, but it's private as well. And the terrain there are just big, huge rocks that you can go through, these big rocky washes, and fabulous guides at all locations. And then, of course, Moab. Moab is Mecca of off-roading. I mean, I love Moab. Just stunning views. Yes, you interact with the public, I think, a little bit more, but that is also great training.
Mhm.
And that's real life. When you're off-roading, you're gonna be around that many people. So talking about those tread lightly principles and really seeing them in action, and kind of getting used to dealing with the public while you're off-roading, is a great setting to learn about your Bronco and what you need to do should you come into a situation like that. So all four have um, great qualities about them, and no one is alike. So that you can't go wrong with any of them. But I mean, yeah, I do have a little bit extra space.
Yeah, I will definitely say that, I'm in probably the same ladies groups that you all are in, and our viewers have heard me talk about it. And, you get a lot of ladies that have never wheeled before. They don't know anything about, they just know that they saw the Bronco driving down the road and they were like, oh, I want one. And then they're on the list and they're waiting, just like a lot of us did from day one, but they didn't realize that they had to wait, so much longer. But, and they'll ask, oh man, which one should I go to? So my answer is always, are you going to off-road this? If you are, go to the one that's most like the terrain that you're going to consistently off-road. If you are not, and that is totally okay, go to your bucket list location or go to where you want to learn. Or if you are an avid wheeler, go to where you want to learn something. If your terrain is most like Texas and you're like, I got that, I'm good. I really kind of want to go learn more about Moab terrain, go to Moab. So that's what I tell the ladies whenever they ask that question. So I'm curious, Becky, we talked a little bit about, you were kind of interested talking about maybe New Hampshire, but where's if you weren't to go to the ladies one in Texas, where would be your ideal location?
Well, I think Texas sounds amazing, and even Moab. But as far as practicality, I think New Hampshire would be the best bet for me, since it is more like the terrain that we have here in Virginia. And honestly, most likely, I will not be rock crawling.
Yeah.
While it would be great to do it and say I've done it and learn how to do it, I just won't be doing that consistently.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking New Hampshire. However, the ladies event just sounds like so much fun.
Yes.
And it is different. And also I would like to go out and see Texas, somewhere I haven't been before. So
for sure.
It sounds like it definitely has my vote.
Absolutely. So it sounds like we're going to have some more off-camera conversations about it sure.
Definitely. Now, I have a very elementary question for people that may not know. But so if you don't have your Bronco, will it be as it was in the past that they provide you a vehicle to drive?
So even if you
go ahead, Shelby.
Even if you have your Bronco, you don't bring it. You just bring yourself, and every location is stocked full with Broncos.
Okay, cool.
And Kevin Monet, thank you for that super chat, sir. We appreciate you. Says coming in hot and late. Great content with the women. Grew up with three sisters. I love the girls. Yeah, we, us girls together, we can be dangerous for sure. So Heidi, where would you, if you were to choose a location to go wheeling for Bronco Off Roadeo, where would you go?
Most likely Moab for sure.
Moab. Yeah. Have you been to Moab?
Just driving through.
Just driving through.
Yeah.
Is it the views that get you, or is it just what sells you on wanting to do Moab?
I think it's a good opportunity for people who haven't wheeled before. Like I hear that the rocks are sticky, so it's not as hard as it looks. If that makes sense.
Makes total sense. Because when we went out there a couple of times, I looked at these rocks and I was like, we're doing what? And then you get on them and you're like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely agree. And some of the views in Moab are unlike anything you're ever going to see. You feel like you're on Mars, really, when you're wheeling out there. So definitely I would highly recommend it.
I may have missed it, but was there talk of a future ladies off-road event?
So you may have missed it. So yes, fingers crossed, like Amy said. So what Shelby is asking everyone to do that's even interested in something and can't go to this one right now, even if you're just interested, is to fill out the form so that
Right.
Shelby can have her list of ammo to take in to the powers that be and say, hey, I have all this interest. Let's do some more ladies runs. So there's not one on the books right now, but we're hoping. We're hoping for a future one for sure. All right, let's
I know
see.
one thing
Go
also
ahead.
that there have been discussions, and I think there will be continued discussions, because once people leave a Bronco Off Roadeo, regardless of any location, they want more. They want to come back to an off rodeo or maybe an off rodeo, and experience their location. So I know that is something that they've been talking about for a little while, and they're going to continue to discuss, is how is that going to look like in the future if we get the majority, especially the day one reservation holders or the first year reservation holders through and everything else through. How's it going to look like in the future of if they want to come back to the same location or to another location? How's that going to look like? So that is a hot topic, I know, in the forums, and when people have left off road, they want more of Bronco Off Roadeo. So they are talking about that. Hopefully, some decisions will start to come together soon, and I do know that they will let people know as soon as they figure that out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And somebody did mention earlier, it was like they had been, but they would love to go again for sure. Because, especially when you've got rookie drivers, or even maybe not even necessarily rookie drivers, but they just want more of the experience of going, hey, let me see, I tried that, but maybe I feel like I could have done something a little differently, or, just having the organized experience. I know we get people a lot that go, hey, when are you guys going to organize a run to go? And we're like, we got to fit it on the calendar somewhere. But, so like they get that itch scratched and then they're like, I want more. So yeah, to be able to return again would be amazing for sure.
Absolutely. And I saw someone ask a little bit earlier about how to schedule your time. They asked specifically about the Moab location, but really I think this would apply to any of them. Depending if you wanted to stay longer, either on the front or the back of the trip, most people fly in the day before the event. So like this, for example, you'd fly in on July 20th. The event is the 21st, and then you would fly out the following day, so the 22nd.
Gotcha. So there you go. Yeah, that Bronco Wild Outdoors. Dwayne popping in asking that question for us, I'm sure, on the back end, because I know it's not Becky. She'd have just asked it. So from a Moab perspective, kind of the same idea then. So really just kind of fly in the day before, head out. I guess folks that don't know Moab, it really just depends on where you fly into. So if you fly into Grand Junction or Salt Lake City, plan accordingly to be able to get to site so that you can be there early morning on whatever day it is that the event starts, have your full day in Moab, and then plan to leave, I would say probably the next morning from Moab itself to head back to whatever airport they're going to.
Yeah, I would agree.
From personal experience, having been to Moab. Nothing is close.
I've never flown into Moab, so I don't know exactly. I've always driven, but there's lodging, so flying in the day before, driving into Moab, and I mean, shoot, if you have the opportunity to extend, I would highly recommend to do that.
Oh, for sure.
Highly.
Moab is absolutely one of those places that if you have never been, it is an absolute bucket list. And those that are regulars in our chat know that our plan was actually to be in Moab next week, but life kind of got in the way and decided that wasn't going to happen for us right now. But we do plan to get our Bronco out and kind of get it on the trails out there. Let's see. Jody says, marine grade vinyl and washout floors in the Broncos we drive. In case I pee my pants, only seeing the sky out of the windshield.
Exactly.
Not with the power washer, Jody, like some of these videos have been floating around, but they will definitely make sure that it is cleaned up with that MGV and those washout floors. So Dwayne with Bronco Wild Outdoors says, Shelby, how long did it take to film the Bronco Raptor commercial?
3 days.
3 days.
3 days
What a terrible
sunup
job.
to
I
sundown.
know. So hard.
It was.
I bet it was exhausting though.
It was so awesome. I mean, and it might be the dustiest I've ever been in my whole life.
Oh, I'm sure.
But totally worth it. And the shots are incredible. If you guys haven't seen the commercial, go to YouTube and see it. It's really rad. The production team did an amazing job. I mean, what people can do with drones these days is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to just go rip it up. Like, it was so fun. I got to just go drive. And
That's awesome.
It was really rad.
Just to put that foot to the floor. How awesome is that?
Yes. Sand mode is my favorite Bronco mode. And of course, Bronco Raptor has sand mode, and we did some really cool sand dune shots. And so that was fun.
Awesome. Well, Bronco 78 asks, are they running a Wild Track 3.0 suspension at Off Roadeo at all?
So that is a really great question, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the 3.0. I am so stoked on that. Oh my gosh. So I have a 21 Wild Track, so I have the original suspension. I have not had any issues or anything with mine. Mine's amazing. But as soon as I saw the 3.0 come out, I was like, oh, no, now I'm going to have to somehow do a swap or what. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't heard anything about the 3.0s going into rotation. I'm sure they will. They would have to. But yeah. I mean, I guess don't quote me on that, but I would assume. But I haven't heard about that yet.
Nothing official. Nothing's been rumored, anything like that. It's just it's a wish of Shelby's, is what I'm hearing. Yes. So, and from a marketing perspective, it would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make absolute sense to bring it in. So for sure. So I love Dr. Pepper 11 says form filled out. I'm gonna miss out on winning all the stickers.
We'll have some stickers for you.
They know about the stickers.
So I've actually seen quite a few ladies in here say they filled out the form. So hopefully you'll get a pretty good push on it from this evening as well. And some folks saw you sneak in the background, Dave, over there. For those that don't know, Dave is producing for us this evening. He actually has producer Dave on his thing. So we had a good laugh about that this morning before we kind of came on the show. But anything else you ladies would really like to kind of share about the event itself that we didn't cover this evening? Becky, do you have any questions that haven't gone answered this evening about it so that we can sell you some more on going to the ladies run with me?
I mean, really and truly, it doesn't take much to twist my arm to go, honestly. I'm going to go downstairs afterwards and tell Dwayne. He's going to be like, oh, yay. That's all you needed, huh? No, it just sounds like so much fun. I mean, I've got a little bit of daredevil in me, and it would be so fun. And again, I'm looking forward to the Raptor. What did he say?
He says we can't have us together.
Oh, you might be in trouble.
I know. I'm thinking that's really kind of why I'm thinking maybe my daughter doesn't go, because I think we might be able to let our hair down a little bit more if my daughter stays home.
Well, but we do need someone to film.
I know we got
to have that. So
Dave said that too.
I don't know. Are the guys allowed to go?
Oh, that's a really great question.
I do have that question because they would be great filmers.
Are gents allowed to come as passengers?
Yes.
Obviously, they know they can't drive, but are they allowed to come?
Exactly. No driving, but can they attend with us?
Question. That's a good question, but I'm going to say no. I mean, we're really wanting this to be, just a women.
Just the girls. Okay.
Just the girls.
We get it.
And I get that. Yeah. I just didn't know because of they're going to have to come up with another plan.
Right. The boys will just have to take care of it.
Girls.
I'm all about some girl power, but that
Yeah.
is
Oh,
a
yeah,
great
me too.
question because I know that I'm sure that there are some ladies in the audience that are kind of thinking, "Oh man." Here's the piggyback to that, ladies. If that was your thought when you went, "Oh man, I don't know what that I can't bring my guy." Bring your girlfriend.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
make this
that's a
a
good idea.
ladies event because how many trips have girls gotten to go on just themselves? And if you've gotten that opportunity, I've not really had many because, life. But I can only imagine, and I've heard some amazing stories from girlfriends that have gone on ladies only trips and to be like, man, I really want that. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine that this would be an amazing experience just as all the ladies going.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, bring your daughters, bring your sisters, bring your mamas, bring any woman in your life that you want to come out and be rock stars out
There
at
you
this
go.
event. I mean, truly, it's going to be a blast. I will say it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I head back to work on Wednesday, and it's supposed to be 105.
Oh,
I'm out.
So it's going to be warm. But hey, you know what the great thing about these Broncos? Now, Shelby will agree with me, I think, on this because we're used to the old Broncos. The AC
Yes.
in these Broncos is
It's amazing. It is.
And so, yeah, get to be in the AC during the day, but it is going to be hot. So whenever they send out information as far as like dress, please wear closed-toed shoes. We have all kinds of cactus, all shapes and sizes. They're real. They hurt. So closed-toed shoes for sure. You don't necessarily have to wear pants, but if you, light, cool pants, something like that, something moisture on the top, keep moisture in, keep you nice and cool. Sunscreen, hats, sunglasses. So many ladies come and they're like, "Oh, I forgot my sunglasses. Do you sell them?" And I keep saying,
You keep telling them they need to.
Sunglasses in the mercantile.
Yeah.
So I have like 15 sunglasses in my truck. So when a lady comes and needs to borrow a pair, we have sunglasses. So definitely sunglasses.
Just slap a Bronco. Talk to marketing. Just slap a Bronco on the
know,
side of
right?
it. And then you could sell Bronco
Yeah.
sunglasses in the
There
swag.
you
Because I know
go.
you have a swag store, right?
We do. We have an awesome mercantile where you can get all things Bronco and Bronco Off Roadeo.
Missing out, man. Missing out
Yeah.
on the swag there. So Heidi, do you have any questions about off rodeo that would help, you kind of make the decision in the future to be able to go once your time kind of cleans up for you?
Oh no, I definitely want to go. It's just a matter of time. If I could get the time off, I'd go to the ladies' event for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got to party again. For sure. Without all the boys around.
Right?
They're going to be jelly.
I know they're totally going to be
So
jealous.
Jelly.
Dave will be totally like, "What are you doing? Did you get footage today?"
Yeah.
And I guess that's a question I know Dave has been asking me to ask. So, is there a problem with if Becky and I were to be able to make it out? Could we film our experiences there? Or is there?
Absolutely. So
Cool.
as long as you're not behind that steering wheel filming,
Okay.
you're great. I mean, like
Makes total
you
sense.
can go live, you can film a Netflix documentary. As long as you're outside of that Bronco or in that passenger seat, you're golden.
Awesome. That helps me quite a bit because I know this one over here says, I don't know. Are you going to get footage if you go by yourself? And it's like, yeah, I'll figure it
We'll
out.
have to GoPro up, and we could take turns filming for
Yeah,
each other. That's what
for
we
sure.
could do.
Yep, that's it. We'll get it covered, boys. Don't you
Mhm.
worry. Don't you worry. So I love Dr. Pepper coming in with another question this evening. Will there be guides for the high-speed drive aspect at the ladies' event?
Yes. So Shelby's one of them. I'm one of them, and we will have 2 other female guides that are going to be there. For we may kick up the speed just a little bit higher than what we do crawling on those rocks. But yeah, absolutely, we'll be covering different technique and the technology associated with going at higher rates of speed. So specific goat modes and things like that.
Awesome. Well, Dave, do we have any lingering questions left? We've tied up an hour and 15 minutes tonight. We've had a
Wow.
good conversation this evening. So, last call for questions, ladies or gents, if you have any. And we'll kind of wrap this up with us this evening. Let's see. Jody said, I'm already doing the New Hampshire one. If anyone needs a +1, I'm super fun to travel with. So
Awesome.
Okay, yeah.
and
We
Bronco
need to
7.
get her there.
That's it. Bronco 78 says maybe a good time for the guys to ride Windrock while the ladies are at off rodeo. Oh, I hear what you're doing here because my Bronco is going to be unmanned by me
Oh, left
while
vacant.
we're in Texas. So I know
If
what's
you-
happening here.
But okay, so if you bring your Bronco, Kelly, just bring your Bronco. We have VIP Bronco parking at the Texas location. So we have a Bronco corral.
Wait.
That wasn't part of the plan.
No, because I was thinking that's probably like 12 hours to Austin from here is
Ooh,
what I'm
that's kind of a
guessing.
haul.
Yeah,
That's
I think
a
it's
road trip. That's
know.
a night's drive.
I know, but I was thinking I could just fly in.
Yeah, you could.
I'm all about the flying. From here, it would take us probably 18 hours or so from
Yeah.
where we are.
Well, let's see, Nashville to
Well, no, it's
Austin.
about 17. So from
From
Townsend,
Virginia.
I can tell you it is 20 hours with pit stops straight from
Oh
Townsend,
my-
Tennessee, with a trailer and a Bronco behind you.
Oh boy,
Ooh,
that's a
yes.
lot of driving.
It's 858 miles from Nashville to Austin.
Yeah.
So 13 hours. I think I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
just fly.
Yeah,
fly.
I would
Yeah.
totally fly.
I would totally take it to park it just in the corral though,
No.
because that would be amazing.
No, I
And
would
to keep
say-
it from these boys.
No, the Bronco though, as far as a road tripper, it's amazing. Like when we drove from Virginia to Tennessee to Supercell East, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It's
really
so
awesome.
comfortable.
It
I
really
drive
was.
mine everywhere, and I love it. Like, it's really, I just recently, so I'm in Southern California, and I just recently was at Overland Expo in Flagstaff, and that was like an 8-hour drive, and I was like, I'm here already? I felt like the trip had just started.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, I love it.
I
Absolutely.
typically dread road trips, but our trip to Tennessee was awesome.
Yeah.
It really was. I have to say that.
The viewers really know that we Dave loves our Gladiator for everything but road trips. Like
Oh.
it's awful.
Rough.
Like we went to Florida in it and we went to Michigan in it and we will never like
You need to
it's
see a chiropractor after that, right?
yes, it's banned. I told our daughter, I was like, because when our Bronco was in the shop, she was like, are we still going to go somewhere if the Bronco's not out yet? And I said, baby, I don't know where we can go that's within 3 hours. And she's like, within 3 hours? Why? I said, because that's the limit on the Jeep. She's like, oh yeah, we're not going anywhere over 3 hours in the Jeep. So she's well aware because she was not comfortable in it either. So, but the Bronco itself, like, she was the only part that she was concerned about with us driving from Nashville to Moab was what she was going to do with 24 hours in the vehicle.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it is a very long time.
Lots of movies,
Yes.
games. Well,
She's
we
on
took
a
all 3 of
YouTube
our
pic.
kids. Yeah.
For sure.
We took 3 of our kids as soon as we got our Bronco, December 15th.
Mm-hmm.
The end of December, beginning of January, we immediately hopped in it with 3 kids. And my oldest is like a man child. He's almost 6 foot at 13 years old. And so, and then my other 2 and the back crammed full of stuff and went to Colorado. And
Wow.
so, long, we split it into a day and a half, but lots of stuff, it's comfortable enough, good sleeping, games.
For sure.
that.
Keeping them busy.
Yes.
They figure it out at home. They find something when, they come in and say bored. Oh, I've got things for you to do. Oh no, Mama, that's fine. I'm cool. I got other things to do. That's
I have
cool.
a list of stuff for you to do if you're bored.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Well,
funny.
last question for you ladies. Will there be any Raptors at the ladies event to be able to drive, or is it just or are they just ones for us to see and
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
You are going to have to come to find out.
Ooh.
Oh, so there's a possibility.
Ladies, you better
Okay.
sign
I'm
up
okay
now, is what I heard.
I just want to drive the Raptor.
You just couldn't let it be a ladies. Could you? You couldn't just let it be all ladies tonight. You had to just come in. See, that says Kelly. It doesn't say Dave.
It's right over me too. It's weird.
Well, did you have a question for the ladies before we wrap up? No,
Look, he
no.
snuck in there.
He did. He had to sneak in and make his appearance
Producer
known.
Dave.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you ladies being on. If you'll stick with me just a moment, we'll go ahead and end this thing for our viewers. And thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. And like I was telling the ladies before the show started, we'd like to have some more of these ladies conversations down the road. So definitely let us know in the comments if you liked having a ladies only conversation. Don't worry, guys. We won't take over just Monday nights. It'll be an additional thing. Don't worry. It won't be taking over Bronco Talk Live every time when we do it. But let us know in the comments if you liked it. And of course, give us a like so we can go ahead and keep pushing it up the YouTube algorithm to get it in there. But we appreciate you guys joining. And thank you so much for joining All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, Kelly Boyd, and we are out. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.